should be an obsolete media. This doesn't need to exist anymore whatsoever. You don't need this, especially in paper. This could all be online. This is ridiculous. We have moving cartoons now. We have movies. We have television shows. We have YouTube. We have AI. We don't need this. This is here because we want it to be here, because we love art, because we're humans and we love connecting, we love making things, we love creating, and we love celebrating the things that people create, and it's beautiful. Comics are hope. Like, it's just, this is here because people have put their feet in the ground and they've said, we want this to be here, we love this, and it's important to us, so it's staying.
Welcome back to Comic Industry Insiders. My name is Adam Freeman, and this is the show where I talk to the people behind the scenes of the comics industry, the people who make this whole thing run. The retailers, the operators, the builders, the creators, the people who keep comics on shelves and communities alive. Now, a while back, I was talking to Jack DeMaio of Whatnot, and he said something that really stuck with me. Comic retailers are the ultimate influencers in our space. And if that's true, then today's guests might be the ultimate version of that idea. Tessa Gray, who many of you know online as Tessa is a Nerd, is one of the most influential comic voices on social media right now. But more importantly, she's not just talking about comics, she's doing the work. She runs multiple comic and game stores in eastern Pennsylvania under the Cloud City banner. That she is actively growing this vibrant community in a way that feels genuinely modern, welcoming, and, dare I say, human. Tessa understands something that a lot of retailers struggle with. Comics are a community business first. Whether that's on the sales floor, on TikTok and Discord, or across 3, soon possibly 4 physical locations, she's figured out how to make people feel like they belong. So today we're going to talk about that growth. We're going to talk about retail, about social media, and what comic shops get wrong, and what the next generation of stores might actually look like. All right. Without any further ado, Tessa Gray. Tessa, thank you for joining me this week. Where are you? You said you work mostly in the warehouse these days. Is that where you're at?
Yeah, thank you for having me. So there are 3 storefronts. I'm not usually in the storefront unless I am buying a collection or something from people. Mm-hmm. But I hide in my dark, hot hole. I keep a little heater on in my dark room, and I plug away a laptop all day. I play Spreadsheets, the game. Yes. I do ordering, and I will go to stores. I try to make sure to keep a finger on the pulse of the company, so I want to make sure I'm at each store at least like once a week. And also spending a lot of time right now trying to hunt down what location we want for store number 4. So
that is wonderful. I do want to get into that about that growth and what that kind of looks like for you. But I don't know. Let's start with something that I think you seem to understand intuitively that I think a lot of comics retailers really struggle with. So I'm just going to say, what do you think most comics retailers get wrong about social media?
Well, I think that comics have this unique thing where it's such a community-driven hobby despite being something you kind of have to experience in isolation. But if you think back to, like, the roots of comics, if you think decades ago when kids would be spending their allowance money and using a few coins to go grab a comic, and then they read it and they pass it around to everyone. And it's such just an inherent... often do I get in collections where people are writing in the notes about what they thought about the book or, like, writing notes to their friends? Like, it's inherently community-driven in a very unique way because it doesn't need to actually have community to experience this art form. And I think that social media is a beautiful way to tie in everything that same way. Like, we aren't really, riding our bikes to our friends' houses anymore with a few comics in our backpack. But we do have Discord servers where everyone can chat about the books that they like. We do have social media like Instagram and TikTok where people can talk about the books that they like. And you can be like, oh, I always like the books this person recommends. Or they have read more books than me and I love the movie Arrival. Can you recommend me anything like Arrival? And it's a beautiful way to connect people in that sense.
It is that in many ways it's like that. It is that experience with the person in the comic shop, right? It's that person who kind of knows the whole inventory well that can kind of guide you to whatever is next if you get the right one, right?
I think the most important thing also is to just talk about the things you like. Like, if you're in this industry, no one is in comics if they don't love comics. So just talk about the stuff that you like. and you're good. Like, you don't have to lie in comics. Like, you don't have to lie and talk about these books that you hate to sell them. It's fine. Just talk about the weird stuff that you like, and it's gonna go great.
One of my favorite lines was when we were running the comic shop and people would ask about a book. You said, a book that you don't like. The answer was always, yeah, I hear a lot of people like that. It was it's a very popular book. Yes. Mm-hmm. That's excellent. How did you end up in this space? I will say that there's as I talk to people about who are the most exciting comics retailers, who are the people we should be talking about growing, and who are the ones that are bringing that sort of energy, your name comes up a lot. And so my first question is, A, where did you come from? And B, where do we find more Tessas?
I always really loved comics, and specifically for the social media side, I created that stuff because I was lonely. I wanted to talk about comics. It was really hard to find people in my life who liked comics, and that was a great way. And now I get to talk to friends about comics all the time, and it's amazing. And as far as like retail stuff, I was going to comic shops, and that's part of the reason that I think I felt lonely, is I felt very isolated in a lot of comic shops. Either I got a lot of, oh, this is for your husband, this is for your boyfriend, or just people being vaguely creepy and weird and following me around the store, and it was just, I don't understand why I can't read comics. I don't understand why you're a woman, therefore you cannot look at pictures. It doesn't make sense. And so I would feel very confused, and just, I would like get anxious almost going to comic shops when it was the only place I like wanted to go for stuff. So just cultivating the community you create is such a passionate thing for me. So we try to create a place where just everyone is welcome, and the customer's not always right. If the customer sucks, they're banned. I don't care. I don't need your money. So just, it's great for all the people we want it to be great for.
So you started going to comic shops. Did you take that path of getting a job at one and then kind of growing into it? How did that work for you?
Yeah, I had 3 jobs when I was in college because I loved to not sleep. That's a passion of mine. Yeah. And I started working, I think it was like 3 days a week. Actually, I started in high school. And I just started 3 days a week. That's just how it started. And then I just worked more and more. And then I was like, this is all I want to do. I don't want to do any other path that I was in. It's just this for me. I fell in love so completely. I liked working more than not working. I just never wanted to go home. The amount of times, especially like as I, grew more into the business and everything, that I would just end up falling asleep at the office or something instead of going home. It was too much.
All right, so you're growing into that role. Is there a point where you think, all right, this is not only is this what I want to do, but like I want to put a stake in this. Like I want to be in a place of pushing this company, this chain forward.
That definitely happened pretty fast. So when I joined, it was one tiny store, and I loved it then, and we started having the opportunity to grow into a second store. Actually, before that, we got to grow into a much bigger store, and that was beautiful. We had one little tiny block in a strip mall, and then we got to expand to the next unit down, and then we're just outgrowing our space too much. At this point, we become like a destination store, and this was the beginning of the roots that I now realize. And so we got to get this really big, beautiful spot, like 30 minutes away, so everyone was very annoyed. But that was when I was like, oh, like, this is all I want to do. I love getting to design the store. I love, like, that specific one. I got to design where every outlet was. It was so fun. And it was every single little aspect. And my little control freak mind was obsessed. It was perfect. I loved putting together the blueprints. I loved designing everything. It was amazing. And yeah, we also got to be next to, like, a high school. So we got to do stuff with, like, some high school clubs and stuff. And it was great. Like, there were homeschool kids that came in every Wednesday, and they spent, like, their whole day of, like, curriculum there, and they got to play games and socialize that way. And there were, like, so many different ways to connect with communities that I would have never expected when I first joined, 11 years ago now.
When was this expansion into the larger location? So you joined 11 years ago. When is this, like, larger growth?
Yeah, we broke down the walls to, like, slightly expand in, like, 2016, probably 2015. And then in 2017, we got to move to the bigger spot. Opened up store 2, I believe it was April 1st of 2020. And then opened up the next one about 2 years later. And now hopefully opening up store number 4, hopefully April next year. We'll see. We don't have a lockdown yet, but fingers crossed.
Hold on. I want to go back. I want to double tap on something you just said. April of 2020, you opened your second store. That had to have, is that not just like a month after the COVID shutdown? Am I getting that math wrong?
Am I thinking it's 2021 then? Yeah, 2021.
Okay.
There we go. And we were still wearing masks at the time when we were putting
Yeah.
everything together, but yeah, it wasn't during lockdowns.
So you've been, I mean, that, so then this growth has actually been happening very, fairly recently, then, essentially,
It's that
right? The
thing of
last.
like overnight success, but actually been chipping away at it for a decade. Like that's
Right,
how
right,
it
right.
always works. So it's just we've been working really, really hard to make one thing as strong and as beautiful as we can, and now it's just becoming more and more and more.
I get that. All right. And this is Cloud City. So this has been around, since longer than 11 years ago, though. This is,
Yes.
yeah.
So it actually broke off of a Syracuse store,
Oh, okay.
and that was a year beforehand, I believe.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you got in very early in then.
So it was Cloud City Comics, and then moved over
Yeah.
here.
Got it. Which is now, is it Cloud City Games? When
It's
I
Cloud
was
City
looking.
Games, yeah.
Okay.
It's Cloud City Games, but it's just I usually refer to it as a nerd store. It's a mix. So obviously, comics are the part that I'm the most passionate about. Every store
Gotcha.
has new comics, graphic novels, your back issues, and then there's also Magic, Pokemon, Dungeons and Dragons, Warhammer, that stuff.
Yeah. Would you, do you, like, how does the store revenue break down now? Is it mostly a game store that has comics, or is it a comic store that has games? I mean, is it, I don't know, was it equally matched? What do you, because
It's actually really fun because each location has different growths, has
oh,
different things
yeah.
that are the best. Yep, it's great. When
Yeah.
way back when, like 11, 10, 9, 8 years ago, was like mostly Magic, but then it had all the other stuff mixed really well. And now it's like one store does pretty well in Magic, but the other two Magic probably isn't even like their biggest selling point. Like it's very interesting to see that each store has different things that sell better than others. I have one store that doesn't do that great in like new comics, but does really well in like back issues and graphic novels, and other stores where new comics are the only thing that really sells. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, that is. It is interesting. Do you think that's just because of the communities they're in? Is it the staff? What do you attribute that to?
Partially it's definitely what's around it. So like we have so there's one store off the cusp of just next to New Jersey in a place called Easton. And that has a lot of like nice game and comic shops near this. There's already like a gaming community. And then we have one in Allentown, and then we have Valley Mall, which isn't a mall, so you get a lot of like just people going all around and just it's one of the more popular malls in the area. And then we have one. Can I curse on the show?
Go ahead.
Okay.
I do often.
We have one of what I lovingly refer to as Bumblefuck.
Got
So it's
it.
in Stroudsburg. It's in nowhere. Like comics do pretty well there because there's no other comic shops nearby at all. So if you
Yeah.
want to get your kick here, it's right there.
It's interesting to me that I mean, you have 3 going on 4 stores in Eastern Pennsylvania. One of the larger chains is there near Pittsburgh. I mean, what is it about Pennsylvania that's making these chains happen? It's an interesting place because you don't see, generally speaking, you see kind of shops will grow into a second one and then maybe grow into a third one, and at that point, the owner's brain just completely shorts out, and the idea of going into a fourth one is nearly impossible. What is it about that area that makes it a bit more friendly? Is there something special about the water? What's going on there?
Yeah, we drink a lot of lake water here.
Yeah. That's probably it. That's probably it right there.
It's so funny that you say that because I have it mapped in my head for like the next like up to like 10 or 12 stores at least where I have it like kind of like what I'm hoping to do. Obviously, plans could change, but places
Right.
I want to be. And the thing with opening stores is jumping from one store to two stores is a really big hurdle. I mean, you're doubling everything.
Yeah.
That's the biggest hassle. Opening 3, not too bad. Opening 4, then the jump from 5 to 6 gets hard because of like tax and dumb paperwork stuff, and also going to a new state sucks for the same reasons. So store number 6 might be the first one to go into another state, 'cause then I'll just hate that store no matter what. Just do all the bad stuff at once. But in my head, there's like 2 good nerdy hubs. You have like this tri-state area of like the New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania area, and then you have like that like Portland-y, maybe Seattle-y area. And I feel like these are like the 2 great areas for comics and stuff because near us, like I just moved, so maybe not so much now, but 4 months ago, I had 6 comic shops within 20 minutes of me. Like
Wow.
there's a lot of nerd stuff, and again, it's a lot of like mixed stores because that new comics doesn't have the best margins, right? So like a mixed store, it's stronger, stronger base there.
Sure.
But I think just this area in general is fantastic for it, as well as like that like Pacific Northwest area.
West Coast is really difficult for change just by nature of, like, California, you cannot get more than 2, maybe 3 stores in a chain just because I think rent is just so expensive, right? Rent and income tax. So it's always fascinating to me how I feel in my head at some point soon we're going to see a nationwide chain, and I'm always curious to know where it's going to grow out of, because it feels like there are a couple different pockets. Right? We could see it come out of Florida. We could see it come out of the sort of middle East Coast. I feel like those are the most likely. Obviously, you've got graham crackers coming out of Chicago, and so taking up that big swath in the middle. But I don't know. It always feels like we're going to see that crack through, and I am just like waiting to see which one it opens up.
Fingers crossed. I always say we're working on taking over the world. Yeah.
So, all right, let's talk some more about. I want to go back to your social media presence, and I hate that I want to harp on this so much, but I feel like you have a lot to share here, because you have done such an amazing job of giving. Of making it seem easy, right? Because I think a lot of people, myself included, I really struggle with doing sort of comics-focused content online just because, I don't know, maybe I just don't speak that language. I guess my question is, what does this look like for you habitually, right? Is this part of your workflow? You consider this part of your workday? Like, how do you think about creating that kind of content?
Unfortunately, I'm probably a really bad person to ask this question to because I'm really bad at having a work-life balance. I am
you're in a good community. Listen, those of us who know exactly how this goes, I laugh because I mean, it's like I said, it's a holiday weekend, and I still can't not be working. It's just
I'm well known to be a workaholic, and this Christmas actually was the first Christmas I did zero work on in like probably 8 years or so.
Wow. Yeah.
And I was just like, you know what, I'm tired. I accidentally got a kitten, so like I was like, I'm just gonna relax and deal with that stuff. And it was lovely. I had a great day. I took a nap. It was fantastic.
Yeah,
it was beautiful. But it doesn't. I don't think of it as part of my workday. I should probably, but instead, it's kind of like I don't. I think part of what specifically works for me, and maybe wouldn't work for everyone, is that even though I have something I'm trying to sell, like I would love you all to come to Cloud City to buy all of your stuff so that I could afford dinner. That would be fantastic. My goal is to get all of my staff to get free healthcare. So like if you guys could help me get to that goal, I need 50 employees. So just buy stuff from me. So obviously I have a goal. Like I want you to buy from me. But the fact that I approach everything is like, oh, I'm just your friend and I want to talk about comics because that's what the root of it is and that's why I'm here. Like if I wanted to make a lot of money, I wouldn't be in comics. I want to touch comics all day. Like
this is also another theme of the people we talk to.
I would say, everything in comics, like, no one is getting rich in comics unless, A, they've just been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
Or they, like, screwed someone over. But, like, cool, you could be a Todd McFarlane, a Jim Lee, a Robert Kirkman, who've been doing this for decades and decades and decades. Yeah. But that's it. Like, there's no one who just is like, oh, yeah, I started writing comics and now I'm super rich and famous. Like, that's not how this works.
No, and you know what? It's interesting. Those two choices do kind of track with the people I know. It is fascinating. Yeah. Yeah, you're distracting me now. Okay, so let's get so then for you it truly is a social media. It is about being social. It's about that connection, right?
They go hand in hand for sure. Like I don't do them as much as I used to, but I used to do a lot of like live shows, and I do them occasionally, and that's both a great way to make sales because you're interacting in that moment with people rather than like you see a post and then you're commenting on something. This is, oh, we're actively having a conversation, even if it's a little chat box, but I'm responding to you, we're talking.
Yeah.
And it's also the easiest way to just connect with people about things that you like. Like if you're sitting there and you're like, hey, I really love this book, then other people are going to be like, oh, have you tried this? Do you have more things like this? And it's just an easy way to keep the conversation rolling. And it's the perfect medium for both things. It's best way to capture people and get sales and customers and people who love everything and want to be here, and also just getting to chat with people and talk about comics.
True, very, very true. I found that we do this this weekly live show where we talk about the comics industry, and I think I don't know, even when it's just somebody whose name I know shows up in the chat, it does feel a bit more like that, about just talking shit about comics, which is kind of like the only thing I do anymore. It's a very weird life to have landed in. So, okay, so then let's get back to the stores then. So you have 3, you're looking for your 4th location. What are the hurdles you're having to jump to go from 3 to 4?
finding a spot is really the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like starting off, it's not like we would need that many staff. So like, sure, hire people, but do that all the time. Just hire 2 to 3 people. But just finding the right place that makes the most sense. I'm really passionate about a place that is more than ADA compliant. It's welcoming for people in like wheelchairs and stuff because we have a lot of consumers who come in like that and they don't feel as welcome in a lot of places. So if you ever go to a Cloud City, you'll notice our aisles are all really big. It's always not just compliant, but very comfortable and nice for anyone who needs it for disability purposes. And in a lot of the areas we're looking in, they have like a lot of steps to go up the front. But if you want, you can go around back with the trash and go in, and there's like a ramp there. And I'm like, I don't want anything like that.
Right.
And so, like, just finding a place that is nice in all the ways that I care about, has good bones, also price, obviously. And one of the last places we've had to deal with some, like, of course, you're going to have some weird leasing agents and stuff like that. The last one I thought I had locked down, but the person who owned the place, because we were going to be leasing from a strip mall, the person who owned the entire strip mall was climbing Mount Everest, literally, not exaggerating. And he kind of gave the leasing agent, like, hey, you know what? Go on, get you can do whatever you want here. I'm assuming he gave him some kind of parameters. And we negotiated back and forth, and everything made sense. And it's all in emails, too, which is written law for Pennsylvania.
Sure.
And everything made sense. It wasn't like anything would look weird if you were looking outside. It would be like, I want 7, I want 5, let's do 6. Makes sense. And then they said yes, we signed the deal, everything was good. And then they went, never mind, actually, we don't like the deal. This doesn't work. And I was like, what do you mean? That's not how this goes. And leasing agent then yelled, saying that he knows how to do his job. And we could sue them, but why would I want to sue someone and have a really contentious relationship and then be in their spot for years? So it's just, we've had some weird stuff like that where it's just, I just want to find a good place. I promise you, I'll pay the rent on time and I'll be really clean and nice. But so it's just finding the place that works. And I was hoping to find that last year, but it looks like we have a few promising options. So hopefully April 1st open.
Was this an instance where the owner got back from climbing Everest? Did he actually climb Everest, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay.
We also made a joke of like, well, maybe he won't make it back. We'll see how it goes. But he did.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Okay, so the person gets back from Everest and says, "Oh, comic book store? Is that how that went? Do you think? Is that?
I hope not. My personal thought, which I will never be able to get this confirmed or not, is that he went to go climb Mount Everest. He's like, hey guy, this spot's been open for like 8 years, so I assume nothing's gonna happen. But if it does, you're free to wiggle around some if you want. I'll be back on the 21st or whatever." And then he came back and he was like, whoa, you did way too much. No, we can't go that low or whatever. And that's my thought. Gotcha. But obviously, the leasing agent was like, I know how to do my job and I'm very good at my job. Why would you ask me, like, what's up? And I was like, all right, dude, whatever.
The reason I ask is that there was a time when I was a retailer and we were going to move into a bigger spot, and there was one spot I loved that had wanted to open a coffee shop inside of the shop, which was going to be new at the time. Now they're all over the place. This country's filthy with those comics and coffee shops. But
yeah, I hate those. They're the worst.
Oh, the worst. Oh, who wants that? Those two things together. Anyway, so go through the process. I find the place. It's within the budget. There's some remodeling that needs to be done, but whatever, we can handle that. And the guy goes, "Yeah, I just don't want a comic shop in here." Like, what? God. He goes, "No, I want like some sort of like gastropub. I think it's got a kitchen. I think it would be better for a gastropub." I'm like, what? Well, I'm not a gastropub, and I want it. No is the answer. Okay, fine.
Usually, it's a pretty easy push for what we do to be in places because it's, hey, every Wednesday new comics come out, so you're going to have a slew of people here every single Wednesday. Also, game night. So if you food places nearby, between every single, round in a standard magic event, people are going to go break and get food. Like, this is going to help out your little economy right here.
One of the reasons I harp on the idea that, comic shops have not really... the store count of comic shops hasn't really changed in 20 years. It goes up, it goes down, but it never with a plus or minus like 4 or 5%. And that's partially because of that weekly flow of customers that are always coming in, right? Even though you're right, the margins are not excellent. They're good for retail. They're not great. They still, you see, you're going to have traffic every single week, like clockwork. It's one of the more I don't know. It is seductively beautiful from a business standpoint, if
Yeah.
it's, even if not from a financial standpoint. Well, so talk about what would be. So, is it really just about finding the right location? What does growth look like? I mean, at some point in the future, do we see Tessa Cloud City comic shops like all over the map?
Hopefully, yeah. So we have like a warehouse where
Okay,
we get all of our collections sent back and everything, and then we parse them out to the stores and stuff. So right now, we don't want to be too far away from that as our hub until maybe we get a few, up to maybe a dozen stores, probably less than that, for this warehouse hub, and then we can get another hub, and then it can kind of grow around that. But we also
right.
have to like be careful to not be too close to other stores because we don't want to like leech off of our own base. But
Yeah,
we also don't want to be too far away that I can't go there all the time. So, it's playing all right, I have a few different like cities I can look into in different areas and just finding good fits near there. And I also like I'm really passionate about not killing other comic shops, so I don't want to move in next to another like
right.
mom and pop like nerd store and destroying them. And callous to say, but like we're the bigger fish, so like we'll be fine. I don't know if
Sure.
you would be. And I really don't like this genuinely has room for everyone. We have a lot of comic shops that we're friends with that like sometimes BCW won't be able to ship bags and boards, so we'll give someone some bags and boards, or sometimes we'll get allocated on something and someone will give us some. Like we all help each other out all the time. We're all friends, genuinely.
Yeah.
And I don't want to destroy someone's livelihood, so like I'm trying to be very good about not being too close to any other store.
I think that makes some sense. I mean, it's been my experience that you have to be like right on top of each other for
Mm-hmm.
that competition to actually be real. I think generally speaking, stores kind of create their own ecosystem,
100%,
right?
yeah.
Like that you and this is always one of the big proofs I see of this is that when a store goes under, the business doesn't it just goes away. Like
Mm-hmm.
you don't see those sales come up in another store. You just see that they just stop. So, which always tells me that most of the customers that are buying comics on a regular basis are buying them because of the store experience. They like that particular experience. They like the person they buy them from, that sort of thing. So, yeah, um, I'm going to ask you because you are internet connected, and only because I am getting so many of these question marks because we talk about new stuff. What do you think about these blind bags, and are you completely up in arms about this Ultimate Marvel blind bag debacle? Why does everyone want to talk about this? Oh my
So
god!
I mean, we're also talking about social media, and these two go in hand perfect, because what does great
Right.
on short video form stuff? It's where you open stuff. Pokemon packs, Magic packs, opening blind bags, where you get a moment of suspense where it's like, whoa, I don't know what's going to be in this unboxing situation, and you get to open it up and see what it is.
Yeah.
So it just fuels that entirely, and then all these people are going to watch those kind of videos and be like, that's so cool, I want to try it too. And that's all that's happening. It's this loop that's happened for all of them. It happens in other nerd things as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as soon as I saw that blind bags were happening, I ordered a million for Batman because I was like,
Okay.
I don't. I mean, I think they're fine. I like that for the Batman one. They at least were like foils. They were different, but it was like this isn't really for me, but it's cool, and I know people are gonna love it. So I ordered a bunch of them. It's whatever people want. I will get, but God,
So you're
there's
not
you
you're
know
not
what
on
though?
whatnot opening them then at late at night selling them before you open them. You're not doing that,
Yeah, I
right?
sold all the yeah.
Yeah.
I this is long ago. This was probably in what 2016, 2017, 2018, maybe.
Uh-huh.
Sex Criminals did a blind bag where you could get a
Yes.
sketch and like that's cool. I want that. That's neat.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. And I think you know what? Kirkman I think did it really well where there were a lot of like different pieces of that the Battle Beast blind bag. There were a lot of there were a lot of different books you could get. You a lot of different covers. A lot of
Good
different
marketing is
stuff.
smart the way they did that. Yeah. And
Yeah.
like I just personally don't really like foil covers that much. I like the way Image is doing them where they're like matte, but I just don't. I want to be able to touch my book without leaving fingerprints. So I don't like foils that much. So like if I did like foils and I was gonna read a Batman #1, sure, I probably would have grabbed one of the blind bags as my copy, see what
Sure.
copy I like. It's fun, but there were a lot of people who were like, "Give me 10." Okay, sure, dude.
Yeah, here's your 10. Listen, we had to figure out how to rebuild the speculator market. There was only so many times you can kill Superman. You gotta build it somehow. I'm trying to find a way in on this conversation that doesn't sound like I'm the old man in the room, but what the hell? I'm the old man in the room. One of the challenges that we have, and I think part of, I keep skirting around this with you, is that our industry hasn't really grown. It's incredibly stable, and as much as people are into comics, we haven't seen the kind of growth that you would like to see. We've seen kind of stable, incremental growth over the last few years, but the shops right now are seeing massive growth, 20, 30, 40% in some cases. And so I'm curious to know if you are handed the keys to, I don't know, pick a trade organization or what, you are now the emperor of comics.
I like that. Good title.
What changes do you make to bring in a new generation of comics retailers in? Right? What are the things that encourages somebody to go in and open their own store or buy the store they've been working at, right? Kind of inherit the store that they've been working with. What are the things that we should be doing to think about like this? I will say anybody under 40, frankly, at this point, I would love to see more faces like yours as retailers than like mine, and they all look like me. How does that work, right? So what would you recommend?
So the thing is, starting a new store isn't that hard. It's harder to stay. It's just a harder business to stay stable in as far as once you get going. And I feel like a lot of people, I always think of it as there are two different types of nerd store owners. There's the nerd who wants to own a store or whatever, and then there's like the more business guy who also likes nerd stuff. And so I feel like the ones, unfortunately, that are more just like, I love comics, I'm just going to open a place, doesn't usually go as well because that's more of where their headspace is rather than,
Right.
all right, this is a business and this is something I like, so let me run a business, and it just happens to be catered around something I like. And I think people get too excited, and of course it's like a really amazing dream to have, and a lot of people just do it too soon. I always tell people we have what we call an oh shit bucket, where we just have like, if something horrible happened and we didn't make a single dollar for 6 months, we were set. We could just keep the lights on, keep everything going or whatever. It gives us enough leeway that if something crazy did happen, or if like, I don't know, COVID Part 2, the sequel happens, like just if something crazy happens, like I don't feel like we have to be scared of one bad month. And that can happen pretty easily in this industry. Like,
yeah.
So having 6 months, a year, whatever of savings set aside, that no matter what you are set, I think that's really, really important. But as far as getting other people into this, a younger generation, a different generation, I mentioned cultivating the community you create earlier. Like, just, we have a lot of she's, theys, and gays at our shops. We have a lot of not your stereotypical, and of course we do also have, our lovely normal comic people that are just, 40-year-old white dudes, and they're great, and I love them. But we have way more women who come to our shop than any other one because they feel very comfortable there. They feel very welcomed and loved and respected. And it's great. And part of that is also because of our staff. We have a handful of trans employees. We have a lot of ladies. We have gays. We have a lot of different faces that you will see. Mm-hmm. And so people feel more comfortable there because it's not just the man at the counter going, oh, are these for your husband? It's, oh, wow, cool. I also love Tom Taylor. That's really neat. Like, have you tried this book?
Yeah.
It's much more welcoming. And I think that's definitely part of it, is having other people behind the counter definitely helps, because that's where people are going to see when they walk in. Yeah, I think also having something that's very cool about specifically like comic book shops and stuff is that one of the best ways to make sales, to succeed, and to have a community is to just personalize it, is to just be more yourself and unique. So we have, one of our stores has really big glass windows, and we have a really artsy employee. So she draws whatever is hot right now. So she'll have like a big Absolute Batman, and she'll have like maybe Transformers when that stuff's coming out, and like a Pokemon from the new set or something like that. So just covers it in that kind of stuff. And it's really fun. And we have little staff recommendations that have little jokes on them all over the place. And even we have like key issues behind our counters. And even like the little labels say like, $100, but then it has like a joke underneath it. Or sometimes it's serious, obviously. And just like being quirky and being yourself and making everything specific. Like, oh, this is Matthew's favorite comic and this is why. And if you like this, you should also try these few books. Like, that's what makes this succeed, is connecting with people on the more personal level. And I feel like whenever I see shops do that, they succeed more.
That's really good, but that also makes it really difficult to kind of scale, though, doesn't it? I mean,
Absolutely. Yep.
when Tessa the Emperor has 50 stores, how are they all quirky and different, right? Don't they start to lose the standard, right?
We have a standard of personalization. I have so staff picks now. I have like a spreadsheet that I can share to all the stores. So here, whenever it's an employee at the store, focus on these ones. But here are the other ones that other people like, and you can put these stamps on them. So it's kind of that is my biggest headache, is trying to make sure that we're still unique and being able to be like, oh, I noticed this guy likes this. I'm going to put this in his sub box in case he likes it. And doing that kind of stuff. But it gets a lot harder as you grow. And I feel like I have had to sacrifice a lot of things. But we have a Discord channel for customers, and it has the different like genres of stuff. So like, hey, if you only like Magic and Pokemon, you can join this. But we have comics and everything else, of course. And that's an easy way for everyone to be able to communicate and chat, both customer and staff. And that definitely helps to like trying to adapt to both this century and to how it has to be to scale has been a big headache. But it's stuff like that makes things actually connect.
It's curious. As I was looking at a lot of the stuff that you have posted, I realized you visit a lot of stores. You travel a lot for shows and such. And I wanted to get a little bit into. I think you're working with one of the art agents, possibly. I don't quite understand that part yet, but we can dig into that. But I'm curious to know, like, you walk into stores, and I feel like there's still this pervasive idea that comic shops are the comic shop guy, right? They are this guy who generally, as we mentioned, looks like me and who is maybe grumpy and is going to give you weird eyes, as you come in as a girl, and are, they're going to chase you around the store, whatever. Do you feel like that's more or less common now? Are you seeing that? Is it still the average of the other stores that you see outside of yours?
It's not that it's less common, it's just that there's also other ones more so. I feel like the number that I walk into of that hasn't changed, but I also get to see additional, like, so I refer to those as like nerd dungeons, and I love a nerd dungeon. I love, you're going to find some good stuff in the back issue bins when you walk into a nerd dungeon where the floor is just a little bit sticky, the lights are a little bit dim, there's boxes and piles, and you're going to find some good stuff. Like, I love a nerd dungeon, I'm not dissing a nerd dungeon, but it's a very specific kind of feel, as opposed to the really clean, well-lit place. Like, so Cloud City tries very hard to not be a nerd dungeon, even though, again, I love a nerd dungeon. I'm excited to go to a nerd dungeon. But this is really clean, really bright, really well-lit, really friendly. The second you walk in, someone's going to welcome you, and they're going to chat with you. Very different vibe. And so I feel like there are still plenty of nerd dungeons, and nerd dungeons are great, especially once they know you. Love a nerd dungeon. But there are more, like, almost boutique-y vibes now of a lot of comic shops, and I think that's good, because I think that something that's bad about the comic industry is sometimes people gets too stale almost, of just, this is the nerd dungeon that you walk into all the time, this is all comics is, this is all comics feels like it can be. And I feel like getting to explore these different routes is going to be better for the growth of this, because I don't know if nerd dungeons can last forever. Nerd dungeons can last forever until the owner dies, and then that's going to be gone. That's going to be your business that stays open for 35 years, and then the main guy who owns it dies, and then I feel like those would just start going away. So I feel like having your little mall boutiques, your little gaming centers, that goes better. There's a lot of little like pop-up shops near us too, or there's places that do things differently, where they have like book clubs, where they have, once a month they have a different comic trade that they read, and they have a bunch of like cute, cozy couches that you can sit there and read with. Your places like Books with Pictures in Portland, I love it.
Sure.
And places that have fun food trucks and stuff, like that's, but they do that, and it's great. Like, Portland has or Books with Pictures has waffles every Wednesday or whatever, and it's great. And doing these more unique things gets people to enjoy it, because this is such a beautiful, unique place where people aren't going here because it's a chore, because they have to go here. They go here because this is where they experience joy and escapism. This is where they love everything. And every Wednesday, they're coming here to buy their happiness. Like, they want to be here for this. They're excited to be here. People are looking forward to going to the comic shop. So just capitalize on it. Like, this is what they want.
So the nerd dungeons, you think, are just kind of, they're going to die off, literally. And at some point, this new groundswell of these new stores will come up behind. I think that's a lovely view, and I hope that is true. I think I don't know. I every time I hear somebody talk about how there's too many of these stores, I agree there probably are too many of those stores. I just feel like they're just becoming less and less. They're becoming more of a minority. But I don't know if that's just my eye at it, or maybe I'm only paying attention to the stores that are not that. I worry I worry that that's still such a pervasive thing, and that I'm not seeing it. I think really is what this comes from.
And I
Is
also like really understand why they exist because when you think about comics, like, oh no, our precious collectibles are damaged by the sun, so of course we want to block out the windows, and
right.
we're always going to do that with these free posters that we get in from the retail or from our distributors every week. And tell me how many shops have you seen where it's just the posters stickered up to the windows, so the place is darker, and then they just get so sun faded because of course the posters are also damaged by the sun, so you just get
Yeah.
these pale pastel broken images of Batman on the window, and inside it's just a little more dank because of it, and that is just it's. I get it.
So how do you do? So what's the answer, Tessa? What's the answer? The sun is
Oh,
still going to be there.
oh man, I can't think of what this is called at the worst possible moment. But you can get this thing on your window. You know what you see in like car dealerships or whatever, where they put like an image on your window and like the little circles. That's UV
Yeah.
protected. That saves the sun. You can also get UV strips to put on your windows if you want the sunlight, and you can put displays on there. Or you can also be in a mall where you don't have to worry about it. I've done all of these things, and it's great.
And your mall location? Do you have this mall location of the three?
Right now there are three, but only one of them still has windows to the outside world.
I got you. Okay, so but two are in a mall. Is
Yes,
basically
all
what
three are in a mall right
Oh,
now.
oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. It's weird. Are malls like? Are they making a comeback? Are they just dated? What is the story with malls?
I love this. So, like 15 years ago, very different story. Now, malls have the cheap rent. Yeah, and so I also love being able to go into not a dead mall, but a mall that's not its most poppin' or whatever. If it's kind of like
Yeah.
30% like or 60% occupancy, it's great because we can then feed in the like ecosystem of the mall because while you're playing your Friday night draft in between rounds while you're waiting for stuff, you're going to go out to the food court, you're going to eat, you're going to go, grab your wife a gift you've been meaning to get or whatever. Like, you're going to be in the mall, and it's just going to feed more into this ecosystem. And so once we enter, we almost see like a growth of the mall around us. So people want us there. It's great.
You're an anchor for the mall.
Yeah.
You are the
Fingers crossed
Macy's.
someday.
You are the anchor store that is that the malls used to be grow up around, or like a J.C. Penney or a Macy's or Sears or whatever. Yeah, I suppose that tracks. I'm just thinking about some of the stores that I know that are growing that really love mall locations.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I feel like I've hit all the malls that I want to be in kind of near me. Like, the next one has to probably be another 2 stores away because of the distance. So my next ones probably will not be malls, but they're great. I mean, we've been in
Well, you
strips
do.
too. And
Yeah.
strips are great because like of the parking and situation, but one of ours is basic. It feels like a strip mall because we have an exterior entrance and we have all the parking lot right there, and it's well lit. And it's malls are great. Malls, if you haven't checked on a mall in a long time, you should probably do that.
One of the things I noticed while digging in, because every time I talk to someone about you, they either mentioned the
They
stores.
talk about how cool and smart I am.
They just said she's a spectacular human, and I would say
Yeah.
yes, but tell me more. And they'd go, I just can't. I can't. That's it. Spectacular human. I heard those words over and over. No, no. It's either the stores or the social media, so I started looking at it, and again, for me, it feels like work, so I don't do it as much as I wish I could, so I tend to delegate it out or whatever. For you, it feels effortless, but one of the things I've noticed about it is that it is about the comics themselves, and you obviously are giving your personality to it, right? I'm sitting here waiting to go to lunch with my father, so I'm going to talk about comics, right? But there isn't like, I would be tempted in the same position to say Cloud City Comics, or Cloud City Games or whatever. I would be saying that all of the time because that's maybe that's a generational thing. Is that a choice that you're making? Is it building you builds that, or is it something I'm not understanding?
Yeah, just partially it goes hand in hand. I do post a lot of stuff that's just me just chatting about books I like or like whatever I got, but then you'll also see that like I post whenever we get like maybe some new wall books in, or like when we have a new sale, I do like a walk around the store. But I feel like it's more exciting that because you're gonna get new people constantly or whatever. So if they find me because I'm talking about comics on TikTok or whatever, and then they go check out my Instagram and all that stuff, cool. And then after I'm talking about stuff for a while, I'll post a Cloud City thing, and they'll be like, "That's so interesting! Oh my gosh, I need to know more!" Like, I feel like having a rotation of stuff feeds everything more. Like, if you learn a lot about Cloud City and see how cool it is, then you kind of want to see what other stuff I have. And then whenever I post the cool stuff I have, you're like, that store must be cool. And it goes in like this, it
Right.
feeds itself into this great cycle. And I like doing it like that. I also just personally I don't like being fake. And I feel like a lot of social media is. And I think I'm never like, oh my God, follow me guys. And I think like the only reason I've had any kind of, growth and success and stuff is because I'm just not fake and I just talk about the stuff I like all the time. And that's just being genuine works really well. And it's like, I just want to talk about the books I like.
This will never work. There's no way. There's no way this works. Just being a genuine human.
And then even talking about Cloud, like I'm talking about Cloud because I love Cloud. I'm so passionate about it. Again, that's the only reason I'm here. Because if I wanted money, I wouldn't be in comics. Like I love Cloud. It's my favorite place on the whole planet. It's my baby, and I love showing it off. And I love, even though I don't think any of the stores are perfect right now, they're all getting little remodels. I love getting to show little bits of it. And then a great way for stores to connect with their audience, be able to post stuff, is I think being human. It's being imperfect. I think like showing. I made a post that went. This was unfortunately when my account got hacked, but we had stuff get stolen from one of our stores. It was the first crypto and like a bunch of really expensive books, and I talked about it, and that was like a very not cool post, but it did really well because it was just, this fucking sucks, guys. Like,
Tell me the story. How did they break in?
no, they like swapped stuff in bags and boards. Probably didn't even know until the next day I was in, and I was like, hey guys, what's up with these books? Like, they just did a little stealthy, and I was like, all right, cool. And then because of that, I was like, well, I'm gonna go move where the key wall is. I'm gonna change all this stuff. So then showing construction of the store and people like getting to see that. So I think being not perfect works really well. I think getting to be like, hey, I've never posted on social media before, but I want to try talking about books. Let me know what you guys like. Hey, I've never done this stuff before, but watch me try to remodel the store. Or watch me try to redesign a staff pick section. Like, doing that kind of stuff works well because everyone else also, it's their first time living too. They don't know what's going on, so it's great. I think just
It's their first time living too.
it's everyone's first time living, and I think
true.
that it works really well because people can relate to just the imperfecy, just getting to learn and try new things and seeing how it goes. And if it doesn't work, talk about that too. Like, that's great.
I wonder about that. Is that, I mean, we do genuinely want connection. That's why we go to social media, right? We do genuinely want connection. That's why we go to the comic shop, is to see somebody, because we can have stuff delivered. We want to connect to someone. I think I think the real challenge is just feeling like, maybe is that feeling worthy of being connected to.
I mean, hey, guess what? This also doesn't come naturally to me, and sometimes I get anxious when I'm about to go live, and sometimes I make a post and I completely delete it because I don't like it. Like, that's normal. Like, it's often that I try to do stuff and I'm just like, you know what, that sucks, or I don't like how I looked in that, or I think that this sounds stupid and dumb, I'm gonna redo it. Like, that's also normal. Don't let my Instagram feed fool you into being like, this is so easy and fast, pick up your phone and do it. Like, no, it is hard because you're also connecting to other people, and that's also a challenge.
Yeah, I do think that there's a little bit of that stepping forward says, I'm worthy of being connected to. And I think people struggle with that. Mm-hmm. I really do. But I do love this idea of, it's all our first time. It's my first time. It's your first time. Ain't none of us done this before. Let's look to the larger comics, the direct market community, right? I don't know how much of this you've connected to. Are there a lot of we haven't really that I have seen haven't really cracked the code on creating something of a Discord. Most of the conversation I see is still on kind of old man Facebook.
I think we're exactly at the tipping point right now because, like, we used to have, like the Warren Ellis forums and stuff like that. Like, we had great things like that. And I feel like in the last 10, 15 years, we've really lost having some kind of capacity to connect swiftly like that. And that's probably why, like, Instagram and stuff goes really well for a lot of people. I've started my own Discord to try and connect people in the same way because I'm actually really bad at scrolling. I never go on social media personally. And I do feel like that there is that deep loss of, like, some people are trying to connect on, like, League of Comic Geeks and websites like that. But there's not a lot of great opportunities at the moment. And I feel like there's a big opening for that right now, and it just needs to be cracked.
I think so too. And it's something that we keep toying with. Do we want to, at Prana, do we want to, like, try and dip our toe in being that connection? But it's a lot of maybe we're putting too much pressure on making it work right. Maybe that's just
Mhm.
it. Maybe the word right is what I'm getting wrong. But I know that when I was young and starting off in running my own comic shop, like I really responded well to having a place online where I could connect to a lot of other people that were doing the
Yeah.
same thing. Right, we had the CBIA, which was a kind of the comics equivalent, was also on the same platform as the Warren Ellis Forum. Then everything moved to Facebook, at which point the algorithm fucked it all up. But there hasn't. I mean, I know that there are still Facebook groups that
Yeah.
retailers are on. I haven't been on them in many many years because I'm not a retailer anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious to know, like, is that connection still available, or do you have a network of people that you talk to on a regular basis that are retailers, or how do you? I mean, where are you discussing these challenges that you're facing and others are?
Facebook retailer groups are still actually a thing. And
Okay.
I don't really post on them. I kind of more lurk, honestly, sometimes to see like what people are talking about, complaining about for different comic and game things. And then the main way I do stuff is that either we're close to all the stores near us, thankfully, and then honestly, I go to a lot of cons and stuff, and there'll be a lot of like retailer events, like Lunar and Diamond and everything host these things, and it's a good
Mm-hmm.
way to be able to connect with retailers. And much like why people like going to comic shops, it's easier to be able to connect with people when you're face to face with them. And
True.
online, unfortunately, there is much more of that, rage button people get where they're just like, this place sucks and I hate them or whatever. And meanwhile, in person, it's easier to actually connect with someone.
Yeah.
And so I find those retailer services to be really invaluable for being able to connect with people, be able to talk about things. It's really great. They do them a few times a year. Like I know, like New York, San Diego, usually also like a
Yeah.
C2E tour in Emerald City or something. But you get to meet with people, and it's Lunar will show off a few things that they got coming off for the year, but then you also just get to chat with people, and it's a really great way to connect. And I definitely suggest that if you ever get the opportunity for any retailers to go to one if you can, and then I know it's hard, but talk to people. Just sit at a table with someone you don't know. I usually go alone, so that definitely makes it easier. I feel like you can have someone with you, so if you have two people, I feel like it's easier to just end up talking to the person you know. But then you're losing
Oh
out on
yeah.
getting to connect with everyone. So I feel like when I go alone, I just end up chatting with people. It goes really well, and then you get to actually connect and talk about troubles, and then you change information, and then you get to stay connected and have thoughts and stuff. And it's really great to be able to bounce off of people. I really like that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Have you developed? Do you have anybody you think of as mentors or people that are maybe on the same path that you are? That are like that you're like a cohort. Do you have that kind of those people in mind?
I would really like to. I just have most of the people that like I've met at these events and stuff that I talk to are like, we have one little shop and we love having one little shop, or maybe they do more online stuff, which I think is very cool, and I would like to do more of that as well. But that's just more of their area. So it's more like getting different ideas from different types of businesses and types of people.
Okay, so let's talk about let's cast our eyes to the future. So Tessa is now the emperor over comics, running 50 stores worldwide. Each in their own little community, by the way, with a hub of a warehouse. Um, what are the what do you think is changing over the next say 5 years? How does how the direct market of comic shops? What does it look like in 5 years time? And if you want to cast your eye even further out, like where are we heading? That is that we should be preparing for now.
We're in a universe now where books are pretty popular. We got book talk. Barnes and Nobles is thriving, and part of why Barnes and Noble is thriving, I think, is also because of what makes comic book stores pretty great. Because they're, well, I think like 2 years ago, they started doing this thing where the store manager gets to, outside of the stuff they obviously have to carry, they get control over what to be in the store, what is popular right now, what's popular in their area, any local authors. They get to carry that kind of stuff, and it makes it more unique and makes sense for the little areas in the communities. And
Right.
that's part of what works with us. And book talk is so popular, and just writers are becoming more popular. It's a huge thing right now, and I think the way that that spans over to comics is not in single issues. Most people who have not experienced comics don't read floppies, right? Like they don't know what to do with these. These are little magazines or whatever, but they do love trades. They love a compendium, and so I think just and DC Compact Comics is doing a great thing. It's enabling people to get into comics without being too scared, because a lot of the trouble with comics is knowing where to start, right? It's knowing where to start and not spending a lot of money finding a good starting place. So DC Comics having a small $10 thing is it's going very well. And I think a lot of places are trying to copy that, but they're not understanding that part of the reason it's doing so well is because it's $10 and not $15 or $20, which is very funny to me. But I think having both smaller collections of just, hey, try this easy bite-sized sampler trades to get people into things, but then also being able to have like your nice thick hard books people love and reprinting older stuff in that way. And yeah, like I feel like trades are almost the way of they're the way of the not nerds, because a lot of people I know, most of my friends aren't comic nerds. The only comic nerds I have are ones that I've met on Instagram. It's not that they're against comics, but they haven't tried them out. And then they'll enjoy reading graphic novels, and like you get them hooked on Saga, and they'll want the next volumes or whatever. But I don't think I've ever had anyone be like, "Yeah, I'm going to start getting into the single issues and find out how to store those." Like that's not how you get a casual reader into stuff typically.
I kind of feel though that, like, just the theme of what you're talking about is those book. Does the book format bring somebody back every week in the same way that the bite size, the pamphlet, the comic, single issue comics does?
Well, a lot of our regulars don't come every single week because there are some Wednesday warriors who come in every single Wednesday, but those are not your average customers because those are the people who buy like a stack of comics every week. Yeah. Comics are like $3, $4, $5, $6, $7 now. Most people aren't getting a big stack of comics. They're like, oh, I have like 2 Marvel, 2 DC I'm following, maybe a handful of indie. And so they're not coming in every Wednesday, they're coming in every other Wednesday, they're coming in every month. And I feel like my trade collectors are doing the same thing because, they come into the store every other week, once a month, and grab, 3 graphic novels. And it makes more sense. So I think it's at the same rate as the average new comic reader. We do have, every store has like that one guy who gets like 4 copies of everything. And he's my hair customer. I love him. Shout out Darren. And he gets a diamond box, well, not a diamond anymore, a lunar box, every single week. And he just fills it up with all of his books or whatever every Wednesday. And so, yes, there is that guy. Every store has that guy.
Yeah, generally speaking, I will say I've known a few whales in my time, and they all seem to be either total sweethearts or like just really internal, just super internal. You're never going to get past that veneer. Just, say thank you.
I was delivering, when we first started doing shutdowns for the pandemic, before we knew how long everything was going to be, I was like, I'll just drop off all your books at your doorstep. Don't worry. Like, we're just delivering them to them. It was great.
Yeah, no, that guy, you got to take care of that guy. I still remember that guy's name from my shop. In fact, we just his name was Keith. I won't say his last name, but I will tell you that we hired a Keith into the Prana team, and I kept calling him by that whale's name, and I'm like, why is that so stuck in my psyche? Oh, because he was one of the most important people in my life for so long. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, totally. Okay, so you think we're heading towards more of a trade format? Do you think the single issues, do they have a future beyond?
I do, yeah. Okay. I think that the trade situation has been changing in the last 2 years in a good way, where there are, including smaller versions that are cheaper, and also big, thick boys, like compendiums and compact versions have both been getting more popular because that's what's necessary. And so I think that's great. And they're reprinting, for the big two, they're reprinting older stuff much better. Like DC came out with that DC Finest line, and that's doing really well because most people don't really have a great way to go read Golden Age Wonder Woman. And they're like $35. So like if you were interested, but you didn't want to spend $150 in omnibus, like that's what works. And so I think that shift has already been happening in the last year or two. And it makes a lot of sense, and it's been doing really well for us. And singles definitely have a place, too. But it's a little harder for just an average person who comes in and they're like, I want to try Batman. Like, all right, well, we're probably going to grab some of this stuff.
Well, I don't know. I mean, are they going to reach a million copies on an Absolute Batman #1? I think that may, we're getting there. I think we're getting to a place where, I don't know. I have a hard time thinking that these two formats are either of them are ever going to go away. I think that I
don't think they will
expand and contract.
I think like new comics have. So I think people worry because speculators are a part of the market, and like they always will be, whether they're a large part or a small part.
Yeah.
And I think that people are so worried that when that speculatory market pops, that things are going to be obsolete. But that's not true, because you have all the people who are your Wednesday warriors who just want to check stuff out. You have people who are artsy people who just always want to grab cover buys to have on their walls. You have people who love to get things signed. Like it's not going to go away. It might change, and you might have less foil blind bags, and you might have just more cover A's and B's, and I think that's also fine. But I don't see a world where it truly goes away until we're in a Fahrenheit 451 situation, or there's just no paper in the world.
Well, I mean, I kind of hope we avoid both of those futures,
Yeah,
frankly.
I've put it on the record that I don't want either of those. I would not like that.
That's totally fair.
That could happen after my lifetime.
I have been in my kind of off on the side, finally watching The Handmaid's Tale, and so part of my brain is in this like dystopian, hyper religious world, and I just yeah, I'm with you.
Much like I think that like no one is in comics to get rich. I think that no one consumes comics by accident, really. Like everyone wants comics. That's why they're here. Like they seek out a comic shop because they're like, I want to try this, or they keep coming because they love it. It's not just, oh, I'll just grab a book when I'm out and about because it's not as easy to obtain. Like, yeah, you have a few at Barnes and Noble and whatnot, but people aren't consuming comics by accident. They're consuming it because they're looking for it. They want it. They're searching for it.
Yeah, there is no unintentional comics buying and reading. Yeah. It just you have to. There is an intentionality to anybody who connects with this world, right? Is that they're self-selected, right? Where each and every one of us is a self-selected part of this group. Nobody was dragged in. I take that back. There are plenty of spouses that are owning shops that have been dragged in. I'll put it that way.
Stop! Don't say that because that's why everyone asks if all of my books are for my husband. I'm not married. Stop asking me that.
I said spouses. I didn't mean. I wasn't being. There was nothing gendered or about that statement. I say this because I was in a marriage and a partnership with somebody who I don't think ever really felt like that she was intentionally there. That's why I bring that up, and I think I've known others in that particular role before.
I've definitely had partners that would like take me to the comic shop to be nice because they were like a lovely boyfriend or something, and then they would just kind of be sitting there like in the corner, like wow, like that's a Dungeons and Dragon figure. That's cool. Like just being lost in the corner, not really caring, but being nice, Yeah.
I kind of like that guy has that story too. He's, he's, dude, I was dating this one chick. She would not stop taking me to the comic shops. Ugh.
Yeah,
anyway. Where do you look for inspiration? Because I feel like you it feels to me like you have a very specific point of view, and it is not the dungeons, as you put it. What is it? What should a cloud look like when it reaches its final destination?
I'm such a person who's so inspired by everything in general. I love just different perspectives, and my camera on my phone has so many pictures of just a random little thing that I liked at random places, if we're talking specifically for cloud. Like, I was at one of the places I was looking for a potential new stop. Right next to it, they had a really nice sign, so I took a picture and I was like, I like the way they did this. So my camera was just full of like just these random bits and bobs of like, oh, I like how this version is vertical. Like, that's really cool. So like, it's not that I'm trying to model after someone. It's just sometimes I see someone has a little piece of something and I go, oh, I like that, or I can do that better. So let's try to incorporate it. But I think it's kind of just becoming its own beast, and I think that's what I want it to be. Because I've thought about before about if there's anything I want to model it after, and I think I want to be the version that people model off after. I don't want to be modeling after someone else.
Yeah, that's it. That's the shit right there. Okay, well, in that case, let's talk about one of the things there's the Eisner Spirit of Retail Award goes out to a shop every year, or sometimes two. And one of the things I've noticed, it always tends to be what wins that award is somebody who has some sort of innovation, right? Is, it's very much about a community. All the judges I've ever talked to that have been behind the scenes have been focused on either building of community, building of a broad base of inventory, and then innovation specifically, and display, whatever, those four things. But the innovation part, I think everybody always misses, like, hey, I built this fixture, or, this, because I had this problem to solve, so I did this, and nobody's ever seen this kind of thing before. Do you have any particular innovations that you're proud of?
I just don't know if I have anything that's specifically innovation. Like, I do think a lot of little tiny unique things, like I'm saying, like, we do a lot of, like, artsy stuff with, like, our artsy staff members making, like, these cute signs and staff pics and everything.
That was good, by the way. That was a good one. I should have remembered that one. I should have.
Yeah, I was going to say, I like the ones that get to show my staff's strengths and create more opportunities for them the most. And again, like I think a Discord is like really strong when like all of our announcements go to Discord first and everything. And yeah, we do a lot of like charity drives and stuff. Like we do quarterly like big Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments for charity. We do magic and streams for mockingbird sanctuaries and stuff. So like I don't know, we do a lot of like little things that are like not normal, but I don't know if I have anything that's like a you know what? We do a really dorky thing. Hold on. We do so we have 3 stores right now. And so if you go to all 3 stores in one day, you have to prove it with like a receipt. So you can literally just buy a soda at your store, doesn't matter. You can get a trifecta pin. It's a special pin you can only get if you go to all 3 of our stores. It's like a little Pokemon badge. It's a little design we did of like our logo with like a little like triangle thing or whatever. So it's a little trifecta badge. We'll do a new design we have 4 stores, but you get like a special little thing if you go to all 3 stores in one day.
That's really cute. I love that a lot. When you get to the 4th store, what are you going to call it though?
That's Future Tessa's problem. Don't you dare ask me. I've got 3 months till I need to answer that. At least.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to hand current Tessa future Tessa's problems. I won't do that again.
That is a separate path. I don't need that right now. I have too many things to do right now. It's not now Tessa problem.
Tell me about the art rep work. Let's go back there because I don't. And now I'm nervous about anything any more future Tessa problems. You handed so at some point, which came first, rather the art rep question? I mean the gig or the comics retail? Does it come together? What does that look like for you?
Oh no! I just started helping them out like this year.
So that's new.
I don't work for them. So I can't really move my camera right now, but I have like art all around my room. I buy a lot of comic art, and I'm friends with a lot of creators. And when Cadence fell this like last year beforehand, Kinetic started, and I did not know this man, had never met the person who started running it at all. But I saw this new company went up. But they started posting that they were getting these deals with artists that just happened to be like a bunch of my favorite artists, not even like really big people, but like it was Casper Wingard and John J. Pearson and Tula Tay and Becky Cloonan and Alyssa Wong. Just like a lot of people that I was like, these are my favorite creators. Oh my god, A.L. Kaplan got over there. And I was just like, this is crazy. Like, these are all of my favorite people. And so I just cold message. I was like digging on Kinetic. I was like, I can't find who owns this or whatever. And they have like a little, contact box on their website. And they had been around for a week at this point. They posted like 4 people. And I just cold messaged. I was like, hi, I'd love to help if you ever need anything. I go to a lot of cons. I know it's kind of weird. I just really like a lot of your creators. Let me know. And at the end, I just casually put my social media so that they could see I wasn't a weirdo.
Yeah.
And it worked really well. They're from North Carolina, so Heroes Con is like their local con, which is like the best con. Everyone should go to Heroes
wonderful. Con. I love that show.
And so they're like, yeah, we can meet up there or whatever. And so they were chatting, realized I wasn't a weirdo, and I just really like comics. And so like I don't work for them, but every so often like I'll just be at a con, I'll help them out. It just doesn't, it's fun.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I actually have a business locally it's a bar. There's a bar locally that I loved because there are no TVs and it's a lot of art and a lot of beautiful antiques and stuff and a lot of really great events. And I said, you need a bartender? I've never tended bar before. Now I kind of volunteer as a bartender, but I feel that like you just like, oh, this is I get it. This vibe I understand. I want in.
And like also it helps out a lot because I'm in Pennsylvania. I drive to New York Comic Con. It's like an hour and a half-ish from me. Mm-hmm. And so like North Carolina, I was like, hey, like he gets stuff shipped to me and I'll drive it over there because I'm driving over there anyway. Just pack my car extra. I don't care. So like It works really well. I get to hang out and it's fun. I really like everyone there. What state are you in?
I'm in New York. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, you're close to me. Okay, I was trying to figure out where a bar like that would be, but New York makes sense.
Yeah, I've been down into that area, into that eastern Pennsylvania area a lot. I've been, I like comic shops, so I've been all over.
What?
Yeah. All right, awesome. We're going to start cycling in because I'm hearing people file into our house, which means that there's something about to happen. And I want to make sure that you aren't on when the noise really erupts. So let's start finding our landing pad here. What do you think is the biggest, challenge, the biggest risk, the biggest, challenge is good that's facing our industry, the comics industry right now?
Oh, this is gonna sound so cheesy, but
Oh,
yeah, it's gonna be bad. But negativity, like it's just all the people that are like, this sucks, comic shops suck, comics suck, everything is so cringe, this is so lame, this is so bad. Like it's just all that stuff that feeds away at things and almost gives you like an embarrassment for enjoying something you enjoy, and I think that's so stupid. Um, I'm really I'm cheesy. I'm a dork. That's what like, and so I think people try to use that to and obviously I do social media stuff. Allow me to regale you to 30-second tale here. I posted a little YouTube short up video of me showing a bunch of comics, and some guy said, "Oh my god, like that's so cringe. Oh my god," and I was like, "That's okay. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. Like, good luck selling cars," because his name was whatever selling cars, and he just
yeah.
started deleting all of his comments because I out niced him and he didn't know what to do. But yeah, it's just all that stupid stuff. Like if you don't like something, I don't know. I think telling everyone that it's the worst book ever and it sucks and you're lame for thinking it. Like I think that's all the stuff that eats away at everything and makes you almost like not want to talk about the stuff you like because it's like, what if everyone hates this and then they're just gonna bomb me with it too?
Yeah. Why are we more confident talking about the thing we hate than we are talking about the thing we love?
I
Isn't
think
that
it's a humanity issue,
strange?
not a nerd issue.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, because it's almost fun to hate something when it's bad, right? Like, have you ever watched a bad movie because it's bad and had a fun time laughing at it with people? It's great. It's the best. Like, it's
Yeah.
so fun to just be like, this thing sucks. Look at how much this sucks. That's so fun. But at some point, it's like, no, this is meant to be a good thing. Like, there's a weird separation there, and I think it's hard to find like when you should be laughing at something and finding the joy and the cheesiness rather than. And I think people also don't understand that campy doesn't necessarily mean bad. Like those are two separate things. So like people can be like Absolute Batman is ridiculous. Obviously Absolute Batman is great. But it's ridiculous. It's like 90s maximalism made to the modern age with like a horror aspect to it. Like it's ridiculous. He's what, 6'8" and like 400 pounds?
Yeah.
Like it's ridiculous. That's really fun though. Like have fun. Learn how to have fun.
I'll tell you what, we got the first issue at Comics Pro last year, which is the black and white, and I read it, and I'm like, Alfred is like a secret agent, man? What is this bullshit? And then I came back and just reread it recently, and I went, oh, now I get it. Yeah, of course he's a secret agent, man. How else would this kid figure all this out?
Man.
Yes, thank you. Song cues will be clearly marked. Yes,
well, no, the best part is clearly his suit. How he gets to like stab out his horns.
Yeah, it's all multifunctional.
Yeah, it's great.
It's amazing. Yeah, 100%. Okay. What? So the negativity is killing you. What gives you hope? What gives you hope for the future of comics?
Oh, it's the fact that they're still here. This should be an obsolete media. This doesn't need to exist anymore whatsoever. You don't need this, especially in paper. This could all be online. This is ridiculous. We have moving cartoons now. We have movies. We have television shows. We have YouTube. We have AI. We don't need this. This is here because we want it to be here. Because we love art. Because we're humans and we love connecting. We love making things. We love creating. And we love celebrating the things that people create. And it's beautiful. Comics are hope. Like it's just this is here because people have put their feet in the ground and they've said we want this to be here. We love this and it's important to us, so it's staying.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Okay, one of the things that I ask a lot of people recently is we're making a comics magazine, right?
I
Comics
have
the
that.
magazine.
I have
You
it.
have that? Excellent.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
New York and Baltimore. Got it, yeah.
There you go. I know you did I saw your heroes thing and you did a shout out to Rico who does amazing work on this. I'm so thrilled to show people what he's doing here.
I also love Megan and I love Stephanie. Like you got a good team.
Well,
And you're okay.
We try. Yeah, whatever. My superpower is I see them and like you, like the
That's
whole
what I say
point
all
is
the
just to
time.
give them.
That's what I say all the time with Cloud. It's like, no, like my strength is finding the good people to support it. It's not me, it's everyone else. Like,
Exactly. If I find the right people and I give them the tools that they need and I give them opportunities to shine, I would happily be the moon to their sun. No problem at all with that. But all this to say, what would a magazine for comics, do to make you a fan and grow your vision for what Cloud and your team could be?
exclusive stuff with creators, getting to see either maybe some like sketches for stuff that they're building or interviews and stuff. I always think that's the neat stuff. That's what always makes me open stuff up. I want to see what people said about stuff or like recommendations from creators. I always think that stuff is really neat. Obviously, I love getting to see some good comic shop stuff. Like, I always think that's neat, so I love seeing like a cool comic shop to check out. I think all that stuff's really neat, and I love getting to see some previews or people talking about new books that are going to come out, but specifically only if it's before FOC. If it's after FOC, you're a dick. If it's after FOC, I actually kind of hate you. Like, if you feel really excited when I can't order it anymore, and they're like, hey, this comes out next week. Like, all right, well.
There's something called promoting for sell-through, though. We want to sell the product you already bought.
I want that too, but
okay.
I want to be able to give the creators more money, so being able to order more helps that.
It does. But, you know, I feel you shouldn't
They're
be paying
both
more
good.
attention.
Like, talking about the stuff when
earlier.
they're out is great too, but I love when people are like, here's a new title that you should have in your mind, go ask your comic shop about it kind of thing is, you know, coming out of FOC like in a week or two. Like, hell yeah.
It is the challenge. It's challenge as a marketer too, is when do you get people's attention, right? Are we getting the attention to sell to you? Or are we getting the attention to sell to them? It's always,
you gotta do both. Because
I
they're
know
for stuff and then I'll get it, but if you get me stuff, then I'm going to like it and I'm going to push it to them because I like it. Like
I know. It never ends. It never ends.
So what I'm hearing is you have to make comics the magazine and then comics the retailer magazine. So you make two different ones.
Okay, listen, let me get one out of the way, okay? Can I just get one at a time? Jesus. All right, we're going to do, actually, I'm going to, after this is over, I'm going to invite you to come on and do it live if you're watching this recorded. But for now, we're doing a recorded or a live show next week where we take predictions for our industry for what things will look like in 2026. Right, this time next year.
I think a lot of smaller indie publishers, smaller than Image, are going to get bigger. And I feel like we've started seeing that this year. I feel like Mad Cave has risen more, and they're fantastic. And again, that's been working really hard for 10 years, becoming an overnight success kind of thing.
Yep.
Everything they put out is great. Ignition Press is like the hottest thing of the year this year. I think they're amazing. I hope that they just become so big because everything they're putting out is fantastic. And I foresee a lot of like smaller indie stuff because they're also incorporating a lot of stuff, like I was saying, of joining the century in like book talk stuff. So like spicy stuff is very popular over there, and so they're actually doing some of that stuff. You're seeing more Maria Lovett, and you're seeing like Voyeur over at Ignition, and that stuff is playing into, we don't want to just capture comic nerds, we want to make other people try comics, and that's how you increase the market. So I feel like that's one of the biggest things for me.
Awesome. I'm here for it. I'm here for that 2026. I want that to grow. All right. How do people find you? And do you have any asks for our dozens of people watching?
Go to the tallest mountain you can find and yell out my name as loud as you can. Pigeon messengers also work. I love a pigeon messenger.
Okay.
But it's, if you don't want to yell, if you don't track down a pigeon, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky. Tessa is a nerd. I'm Tessa is Gray. Or Tessa Gray. Words.
Tessa is still gray.
Tessa is Gray. I'm pretty gray, yeah. And Cloud City, we've got 3 locations. One in Allentown, one in Easton, and then one in Stroudsburg, all in Pennsylvania. And we also have a website, so you can always check us out there. Back issues hopefully will be coming up this coming year.
All right.
My asks are to go pick up a new indie comic that you have not read before. Go grab something.
Most recent one that you read that you loved.
Go check out No Place from Ignition Press. I'm not even a fantasy girly, and I loved it. It's like a reverse isekai. It's very cool. Check it out.
Tessa,
Tim Seeley, Stefano Simone, swoon. His art's so good.
I have known Tim for so long, and the idea
the
that
swoon was to Stefano.
Oh, okay, thank God, because I've known Tim for so long. Listen, no offense to Tim, buddy, but the idea
I'll
of
swoon over Tim's lady.
Oh, hello.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. This has been so much fun. I really appreciate you. Please keep doing what you're doing. And, all right. Namaste, y'all.